Hi, my name is Varun and I'll be sharing my experience with ankylosing spondylitis in the next few videos. Just a note, please remember your doctor or your dermatologist is the best person who would know what to advise you, because I'm not a doctor. All I have is 20 years of personal experience and some research online. That's it, and that's all. So let's go back in time, 1999 in Saudi Arabia, where I grew up. I could write a whole book about growing up in Riyadh, but that's for another time. So one day while playing football, I got hit in the leg, the lower leg, the tibia specifically, and it resulted in a hairline fracture. Till today, I don't understand why, but they put me in a full leg brace. Went from my hip joint till my foot. It was all sealed for 6 months. And I think for those 6 months, I read all the J.R.R. Tolkien's books, starting with Lord of the Rings. So for the next 6 months, I lay on bed with this brace on my leg. No one understood why there was a brace, why full leg brace, that too. I had sharp pains on my SI joints, which are the sacroiliac joint beside the back, lower back. Those are those little joints which are on both left and right side of your lower back. And the sharp pain, no one understood why. It was just about maybe growing pains, maybe it was some residual pain from the fracture. We didn't understand why. So we removed the brace, and after the cast was removed, I started getting knee inflammation. My knee would swell and be red, and it was just the SI joint and the knee pains for a long time. Then we started on a specific medication, which is DMARD, D-M-A-R-D. DMARDs are disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, specifically methotrexate and sulfasalazine. I think methotrexate was about 15 milligrams per week, and sulfasalazine was 200 mg per week. I also used to take certain painkillers which were anti-inflammatory. We could call them, I think, those are NSAIDs, which is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. That's another line of treatment they give you in juvenile rheumatoid arthritis or any kind of arthritic inflammation. The DMARDs, specifically methotrexate and sulfasalazine, really didn't work. Especially methotrexate is actually used in cancer treatment, but in my case, it turned out not to work. So I was in pretty bad pain. I would roll on a rolling office chair on my tummy just to go to the washroom. And it progressively got to a point where I had to use crutches. So from 2002 to 2006, I had crutches on because both my hip joints were progressively getting bad. The inflammation would be bad. Looking back now, I believe I should have gone for a hip replacement earlier, but I didn't do that. I wanted to finish university, get on with the education, finish it, and then have hip replacement done, which finally happened in 2009. I get stopped at the airport a lot. The hip joint we used was the Proxima DPU by Johnson & Johnson. Now that particular hip joint got recalled 2 years later. After all these years of using non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, specifically diclofenac sodium 75 mg, it's not good for your kidneys, by the way. I've finally decided to start using Humira. Humira is the biologic. Biologic are very specially engineered drugs. They fall under DMARDs, which is disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs, but they're made through re-engineered animal or human proteins. So specifically Humira, what it does, it suppresses a specific part of our immune system. It's a TNF alpha blocker. So usually I've been asked the question, what's the worst thing about ankylosing spondylitis? I can tell you right now, the worst part about AS is the double pain. It's the mind fog, it's the inflammation-related depression. There are a lot of studies around inflammation-related depression that is ongoing right now. I have been functioning at 80% and I can still consider myself, it's good, 80% is good. I've been functioning around 60% sometimes, some months is 60%. And I wish I had started on certain medications earlier, but then again, you never know how they would have acted. The best part about ankylosing spondylitis if there is such a thing, is the idea of understanding pain, is the idea of empathy, and how when we go through such an experience, you start to realize what pain feels for different people, how you are empathetic to understanding different levels of pain, from emotional to mental to physical. If it wasn't for AS, I think I wouldn't be where I am today, but at the same time, I would have been somewhere else if it wasn't for AS. Now, if you or someone you know have been diagnosed with ankylosing spondylitis, just please remember that there are a lot of resources that are available for you. I will leave a few links on the description here in the video. So I will be keeping a note of my experience with Humira for the next few months. If you like, you can subscribe so you know when new videos will be coming out. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them down so in the next video I can actually address them. Thanks.